July 11th, 2025, and we are so excited to be with you this morning. I am Pat Aite saying good morning.
And I am Samson Balogun.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelaku. And together we are your hosts for Daybreak Live Extra, keeping it real, informative and inspiring.
Well, coming up on the show today, we'll get things rolling with Daybreak News, bringing you the latest headlines from around the country and beyond. Then we'll dive straight into the newspaper headline review and analysis. You know, we don't just read the news, we break it down for you.
And today's big story is one that demands attention. We are tackling the issue of violence against women and a critical topic that continues to impact countless lives in our communities. Joining us to shed light on and share insight on this is Omobawumi Ebube Ayodele, a passionate gender advocate doing remarkable work on the front line of this issue.
Exactly, and that's going to be a powerful conversation, but we are also turning up the vibe with a dose of music and culture. Next segment dives into Nigeria's sound evolution from the street of Ibadan to global chart. We'll be joined by Ayo Dada, also known as Stone Child, a rising force in the music scene with blending sound, soul and story in exciting ways.
Well, I can't wait for that, and of course we'll wrap things up with our favorite segment, Trend Watch. From viral moments to cultural buzz, we'll unpack what is pumping and while everyone is talking about it.
So wherever you are, watching at home or you are in transit or work, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's make your Friday morning informative, inspiring, and unforgettable.
Exactly. This is Daybreak Live Extra on Dominion Television. Let's kick off with the day the right way.
Yes, good morning. I mean, good morning, Samson.
Boss.
Good morning to you.
Balogule, you're very good morning.
To talk about
morning,
the song is even Balogun.
Don't do ladies. I've told you countless.
Good morning, Queens.
Yes, now
Exactly.
you're talking.
Interesting. Interesting.
All right.
But then we'll have to talk about something really pressing, something
Yes.
people have talked about so many times, but we'll keep talking about it until we get it right. And that is indecent dressing
Among
amongst,
ladies.
not just ladies too.
I think men
Even
too,
men do
sometimes.
it sometimes. So it's a challenge. It's a moral decadence that has eaten deep into our society, and I think there are so many things we can do about it, especially when we keep talking and talking and talking about it.
Well, not just talking about it. I just feel this has been with us from time immemorial, but
Yeah.
we were not concerned about it, or perhaps we were concerned, but we value morals and values then. I mean, there are morals, there were values that one parents can actually talk to other people's children, and that is when the Yoruba adage of Ojumeji lo n womo, igba omo lo Ojumeji lo n bimo, igba omo lo n wo, and that is exactly what was happening then. If maybe your dad says me like I'm not wearing what is comfortable or what they should see it as omoluabi, they will just call my attention like, this is not right. Oh yeah, go inside. Then I will be scared. Like, don't let Daddy Samson go and tell my dad that this is what is happening. But these days they will like, Epa mifisile. I like to speak in Yoruba because I feel like this is our language that which people will understand. Epa mifisile, yes, that's the way I want to train my child. And I will just relay this message with this jingle that I heard from all other stations here in Ibadan. And it has to do with a father and a daughter saying, okay, this is it. Daddy, I'm going out. And the father like, with this way. And the girl said, yes, sir, I'm going out this way. Go back and change. And no, this is what is trending. This is what is trending. No, this is not what is trending. Okay, let me give you an illustration. There's one candy. We have two candles right now. And one fell in the sand, and the other one is still wrapped in the nylon. Which one would you pick? And the girl said, I'll pick the one that is wrapped in the nylon, not in the one in the sand. That's exactly how it is. If you dress well, they will approach you well. But if you dress indecently, they will approach you all the way.
Yeah,
Of course, I think you're very spot on, because I mean, if you dress well, if you don't dress well, it can actually misrepresent you, because what you are not, a lot of people might not even know you that much, expect maybe for your family member.
Exactly. Knowing you.
And I've seen a lot of ladies, attacked, because they dressed improperly. And when you dress well, you do it for yourself. You look more classy. There's no, I don't see the reason why a lot of people prefer to wear something too revealing, too short. It doesn't portray you well, to people. people, even to your family members.
I mean, the danger there now is that, have you noticed that most people now, especially adults in the society now, have one quality on their CVs, which is ability to mind their own businesses. You know, nobody talks to another person's child anymore. They're just keeping it cool. They are just minding their own businesses. Whatever it is you have done, it doesn't concern them. Only for people who are actually still rooted in the culture and tradition that actually gets to talk about these things. People now tend to just look away like nothing is happening. Whereas this is a potential danger for the society. This is a potential calamity waiting to happen.
And that's why we have
every member of the
rape
society. Yes, every member of the
cases.
society should, you know, keep this in check, continue to talk about it, because you know, even though it is not justifiable to say, oh, because you are dressed this way, that is exactly why you are being, you know, sexualized by,
But don't tempt people.
Don't tempt people, actually. But it is not justifiable to say, oh, it is because you are dressed this way. I mean, we can't import a culture and just feel like, oh, we are just going to slot it into our society just like that. Yes, it is fine. During summer abroad, people tend to dress somehow because of the heat in that. But hey, this is Africa. We have always been known for respect, for ability to stay rooted in our culture.
If you see some pictures in the 60s and compare those pictures to what we have now, you'll be so shocked.
There was a picture of, you know, people attending clubhouses. I think that was in the 60s, which I saw. I mean, they were even more decently dressed than people who are actually at parties these days. So it tells you how we are falling when it comes to tradition, when it comes to, you know, decency, and then this is a new number. And I don't think we should settle down.
Let's look at this in Delta State. I think in Delta, police start to punish ladies for improper dressing and exposing their bodies. And punishment is community service or 50,000 naira fine.
I mean, I think that is also welcome. You know, we have some universities. We have some universities in Nigeria that are clamping down in decent
dressing. They won't even allow you to enter.
We have seen ladies who go to schools, for example, schools. These are ladies between their teens or to maybe 24, 25, going into schools without even wearing bra or some other, you know, accessories that should be on a woman. And I mean, for me, I don't think that is really reasonable.
Some of them will tell you that it's making them feel uncomfortable. I have a young girl.
You know what makes you a woman now makes you feel uncomfortable.
And I think it's both ways. I've seen guys arrested because of the haircut, and they will assume that you're a boy.
It happened at the time in Oyo State, actually, under the late Governor Abiola Ajimobi. You know, they clamped down on indecent dressing in Oyo State. So, and I feel we will continue to see something like that in the near future. That brings us to the end of this segment of the show this morning.
Thank you for joining us.
We say a very big thank you to everyone that has, you know, stayed glued to their TV set and of course to their phones as we speak. And then you have to keep the conversation going. Link up with us on all socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You know, it is at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, it is at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel. Drop your comments there at Dominion Broadcast. On our website, www.dominion.org.ng. You can also watch us live right there. We'll step aside a little bit. We head straight to our news desk as we have major updates for you this morning. We'll be back after this time out.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. President Bola Tinubu has denied banning the issuance of 5 years visas for United States non-immigrant. This was disclosed in a statement by President Tinubu's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, stating that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has never stopped issuing 5-year multiple entry visas for U.S. citizens in accordance with the principle of subsisting bilateral agreement and reciprocity. This follows a recent adjustment made by the United States non-immigrant visa policy for Nigerians. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced the replacement of suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan as chairman of the Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organizations. Akpabio during plenary announced Senator Aniyekan Bassi as the new chairman of the committee. As a result, Bassi replaces Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, whose leadership of the committee had been uncertain due to a suspension. The Senate has called on the federal government to rethink its approach to power sector by ending the indirect enrichment of private electricity distribution companies with public funds. This was disclosed by the Chairman Senate Committee on Environment, Senator Yunus Akintunde, representing Oyo Central under the APC at the plenary. Speaking on the floor of the Senate, the lawmaker decried the current practice where government funds have been used to purchase electricity transformers for communities only for the asset to be taken over by discos. Meanwhile, Nigerians have called for the decentralization of the power sector as they say the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) should not be in the hands of the federal government. They made the call while reacting to the federal government's decision to subsidize electricity bills for hospitals and schools. Some residents of Ibadan, in an exclusive interview with Dominion News, said that the federal government should look into how they can help reduce the burden of electricity bill for hospitals and tertiary institutions in both the private and public sectors.
Promise is a debt, and if a man in the caliber of the Minister of Power, Adelabu, has made a promise, I think it behooves on him to actually fulfill that promise. But be that as it may, the unfulfilled promise, is a very, very bad optics, for the APC government and for President Tinubu. And, for public institutions like UCH, UCH like, I think for more than 2 years, we're in perpetual darkness. And, that's a very, very sorry situation.
Subsidy should have been given to hospitals, especially hospitals, the federal ones, even the state ones. Now, these are institutions that deal with human lives, that deal with the society. So power should have been subsidized a very long time ago. Subsidize power to these sectors to save human lives. That is the best thing the government can do for citizens at the lowest point.
What do they call it now? To have an holistic solution to the power situation of Nigeria, where everybody can enjoy 24/7 power supply. I think it needs to be decentralized. It's no brainer still having TCN, still be in the hands of federal government. Then, try to harmonize all the power, all the resources, that can help generate power. We see it, on millions of scoop of natural gas, beneath us, over 500 million. So I don't know why we cannot, leverage on these resources.
Hospitals are overburdened with bills. Of course, we can say that government hospitals are actually making money, but this is not even enough. Let's talk about drugs. Let's talk about some other things that need to be put into place. Power is number one in any hospital, even our so-called federal institutions.
They urged the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabo, to fulfill this promise, as this will go a long way to reduce the running costs for hospitals and alleviate the impact on patients. Oyo State's government has recovered 65% of the 500 million naira loans disbursed to entrepreneurs under its MSME's Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery SAVER scheme. This was disclosed by the Director General of the Oyo State Investment Private Partnership, Folami Tilewa, at the interministerial press briefing describing the loan recovery as hitch-free. He added that the preparations are underway for the second phase of the program, with a budget of 800 million naira to support more small businesses across the state. Also speaking at the interministerial briefing, Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Toyin Balogun, also reaffirmed the administration's commitment to tackling destitution, street begging and human trafficking. The briefing was attended by key government officials, including the Chief Press Secretary, Dr. Sulaiman Olariwaju. In business, the federal government has secured a $747 million loan to finance the coastal highway that will eventually link Lagos State to Calabar. The Finance Ministry spokesperson Mohammed Manga has also said that the loan is the first of the size for road infrastructure in Nigeria. Manga said that the syndicate loan by the Deutsche Bank is to finance the construction of the first phase of the 700 kilometers project. And in sport, Nigeria's Super Eagles have dropped to one spot in the latest men's ranking released by the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA. The three-time African champions are now ranked 44th in the world. Eric Shelley's side is ranked in 5th position in Africa. Morocco, Senegal, Egypt and Algeria occupy the top 4 positions on the continent. In the month under review, the Super Eagles held Russia to 1-1 draw at the Luzhniki Stadium, Moscow. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominioncast. And that is the Daybreak News. Thank you so much for watching. I am Pat Aito.
Good morning once again. This segment is where we talk about the major headlines across the dailies. And of course, this morning I have quite a number of them to talk about. Let's start from here. I have headlines from this day newspaper. And this headline is saying, Presidency, we never stopped issuance of 5-year non-immigrant visas to U.S. citizens. And that headline asked us writers, says Nigeria has e-visa policy for U.S. Many other nations' citizens. U.S. has declined reciprocal footing for Nigerians. UK launches e-visas for Nigerian study work applicant. As I don't know, the United States is doing a lot currently, and of course, people have come out to complain bitterly, especially this issue of, visa, because I think I read a story whereby, a lot of students are going to be affected, students who intend to travel to the United States to study for maybe PhD, maybe masters, or even undergraduate. And of course, undergraduate will take about a few years. But then this reduction, I don't know how a lot of students, we cope with this. However, I think the federal government has reached out to the United States to say that, what, we do not delay your people. We have a visa policy for many United States citizens, which is about 5 years. They can stay for as much as they want to. So why are you trying to limit Nigerians? And of course, the federal government also said something very important, that it appears the United States wants Nigeria to actually take in some Venezuelan deportees, about 300 of them. So the federal government is saying, what, you cannot force us to take in these people. So you need to work on this e-visa, and then make sure that Nigerians can actually travel, because even business people, it's going to affect them, it's going to affect students, it's going to affect people who want to travel there to just, visit their families and stay for a while. We do hope in the next, couple of days or weeks, this will be sorted out. Moving on, let's talk about this very interesting headline. I watched the video myself yesterday, and it says, Shatima Al-Tambuwa told Jonathan he had no power to remove elected governors. And that headline asked these writers, says, recalls how ex-speaker saved him from removal as Borno governor. Says culture of secrecy in public service must be broken. I tell you, before 2027 general elections, we are going to have more revelation. I mean, Shatima was speaking in this video during the memoir, and then he was saying that, he recalled how during the regime, the administration of Goodluck Jonathan, he was almost removed by the president. And of course, the likes of Tambuwa, the speaker, and also the ex-AGF, were part of the people that did not allow that. They told, Jonathan, they said it to his face that, what, you don't even have the power to remove, a councillor, not to talk of a sitting governor. And a lot of persons have come out to ask questions. Why is VP Shatima talking about this? Looking at the fact that just recently, his principal, the president of this country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, suspended the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, and of course, installed, a sole administrator. And people are asking, if your principal was able to suspend a sitting governor, what have you done? What have you done to actually, curb issues like that from actually recurring? Because people are asking, if the president back then, Goodluck Jonathan, was unable to do it, why was it so easy for President Bola Ahmed to actually suspend a sitting governor? Because even lawyers, legal luminaries, came out to say that this is unconstitutional. I'll tell you, just like I said, let's expect more revelation even as we prepare for the general elections. All right, moving on to another headline. This morning, I have this one that says, our vice president visited Aileen Buhari in London on Tinubu's directive. And then I think we heard about a few weeks ago that the former president of this country is sick and is currently in London, taking medications and the likes. We hope that will get better soon and, of course, continue on his day-to-day activities. On that note, let's move to the blueprint this morning. I have this headline that says, Akpabio strips Natasha or Senate Committee chairmanship. A very interesting story. I recall a few weeks ago we were talking about the fact that will this woman, will this senator return back to office and continue a job as the senator representing Kogi Central? Look at this development now. A lot of people are asking, ladies and gents, brothers and sisters, is this connected to the issue that is going on, between Natasha and Akpabio, the Senate president? Because why this development? Because he has stripped Natasha off the Senate committee chairmanship and installed another person from the party, from the APC. I want to ask a question. I don't know if you can actually, reason this with me. Do you think Natasha will actually go back? Do you think that this suspension will be lifted? Do you think she will not be asked to go at the end of the day? What's the fate of the people she represents? I'm talking about Kogi Central. A lot of questions, and I would love my analysts to help me make sense of some of the stories this morning. Please stay with me. Moving on, I have another headline that says, Adoke Tambuwa Turaki saved me from being removed as governor by Jonathan. I've talked about it before. What is Shettima trying to do? He's a smart person. He speaks eloquently. If you watched the video yesterday, you need to see the way he was talking about some of the opposition people. I mean, the people who are parts of the ADC, NNPP, the likes of Rabi Kwakwan. So even called him his brother. Looking at the fact that we've heard a lot of rumors about the fact that this person might actually replace him come 2027. A lot is going on. But it appears Shettima is playing it smart, with these people. Let's look forward to more revelations in the next few weeks and months. All right, moving on to another newspaper this morning. I have New Telegraph, and of course I have this headline that says, 21-day ultimatum, enemy warns of total healthcare shutdown. And that headline, as this writer says, over 30% of consultant, 40% resident doctors left Nigeria. Illicit pharmaceutical products customs NAFDAC inaugurate committee. We talked about this also a few weeks ago, about the fact that, these doctors, these nurses, they are complaining about welfare, about salary, delaying payment. A lot of them have left. If you keep suffering issues like this, qualified doctors, qualified nurses, they do well over there. Why is it so hard for them to do well here? If you notice, most of these young doctors, when they leave school, they are already, preparing how to jackpot, how to leave the country. I think this area, health sector, the government must look into this and provide lasting solutions. Let me take that again, lasting solutions, not just, trying to appease them for a while, lasting solutions. Another headline that I have, a New Telegraph this morning, is saying, reports improve local refining to accelerate Nigeria's GDP to 3.6%. We've been talking about this a lot of times because our GDP is quite low compared to other states, other countries. By state, I also mean countries. We need to do better in this area. I also have this headline that says EFCC warns Nigerians against rising virtual asset investment scams. I think I read a report yesterday that talked about the fact that the EFCC board said a lot of politicians, when they loot money, when they steal money, they invest it in cryptocurrency, just so it cannot be traced back to them. A lot of them, actually, they do a kind of agreement with some of these people who do, cyber fraud and the likes. I think it's very disheartening because looking at the fact that a lot of Nigerians are grappling with poverty, a lot of them cannot even feed. I think I read a story just yesterday that a policeman, actually, beat his wife, it's a very sad video because why? She was asking for money to actually pay the children's tuition fee. A lot is going on in the country. People are suffering, and we still have a lot of persons that are stacking this money in foreign banks, investing in cryptocurrency. We need to do better because I tell you, it's not just about the politicians. A lot of people are not politicians yet. They will get there tomorrow. Learn from these people and let's do better. Not just them, but me as well. Moving on this morning, I have this headline also on New Telegraph that says Senate replaces Natasha as committee chair. We've talked about that. Let's talk about this headline, very interesting one. Edo says Supreme Court upholds Okpebholo's election. Honestly, and I think a lot of persons have come out to talk about this election as well. The election happened last year, September, and of course, Okpebholo was declared as the winner, but the case was taken to court, it was adjourned, and recently, it was sealed that, Okpebholo, Monday Okpebholo, won the election and should continue as the governor of Edo State. The PDP candidate, Asuo Ighodalo, complained bitterly, even his principal complained bitterly about this, talking about the fact that our democracy is leaking. What is actually going on? Okay, we have it. That was what happened in Edo State. And of course, we wish Governor Monday Okpebholo well in his administration. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune this morning, I have this headline that says Arewa Economic Forum warns against CBN's new BDC recapitalization, cites threat to northern economy, national security, seek extension of policy. Also have this one that says Nigerian won't bow to U.S. pressure to accept Venezuelan deportees. That's coming from federal government. You know, I mentioned it earlier that the United States wants Nigeria to take in about 300 Venezuelan deportees. I don't know what is actually going on. What is going on around this? Is it compulsory for Nigeria to take in those people? Should Nigeria take in those people? I mean, with the United States, release or relax some of these policies? We look forward to what's going to happen concerning that. But I believe that the federal government is on the matter. And of course, we're expecting a positive result in the next few weeks or months. Okay, let's move on to another headline this morning. Let's move on to another paper, the Guardian newspaper. I have this headline that says, "Imagine boom in home services, costly substitute for ailing hospitals." We talked about the issue of doctors, nurses complaining about their salary, delaying salary, and the likes. Let's also look at this one that says 210 trillion naira probe. Senate berates NNPCL boss for defiance issues and ultimatum. All right, that's how far we can go this morning. Speaking to the headlines, it's time to connect with my analyst this morning so he can help us make sense of some of the top stories that we have this morning. Good morning. I have with me analyst Soji Ajibola. Analyst Soji Ajibola is going to help me make sense of some of the top stories that we have this morning. Good morning. Good morning, analyst Soji Ajibola. Can you hear me clearly? Hello, can you hear me clearly? I think we have a bit of an issue there. Let's continue until we have him back on board. Let's talk about another major headline that I have on the Guardian newspaper. I have this headline that says, ADC coalition faces uphill task to unseat Tinubu, say presidency. That's coming from Body George. ADC coalition faces uphill task to unseat Tinubu. I've also read some reports that said that APC does not have what it takes to unseat the president come 2027, looking at the controversies surrounding who is going to be the flag bearer. Okay, I think I have my analyst back on board. Good morning, analyst Soji Ajibola. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? All right, let's continue until we can have him on board this morning. I was talking about this headline on New Telegraph. Let's talk about the headline, deeply. And it's talking about the fact that ADC coalition faces uphill task to unseat Tinubu, say presidency. That's coming from Body George. What do you make of this, current story? Because, Chief Body George, is a major stakeholder in the PDP, and then it's coming out to say this because look at the fact that Peter Obi, who has recently joined the ADC, has said to Nigerians that he's not going to be VP to anyone. He's going to contest as the president. I think we have him home now. Good morning, Analyst Soji.
Hello.
Good morning. Can you hear me clearly?
I'm hearing you, the presenter.
Awesome. Awesome to have you on board this morning. Let's talk about some major headlines across the dailies. I have this one that says, Presidency, we never stopped issuance of 5-year non-immigrant visas to U.S. citizens. And when I read the story, it talked about the fact that the United States wants Nigeria to take in about 300 Venezuelan deportees. What do you make of the stories? Because this new policy is going to affect students, that intends to travel to the United States, to study, maybe for undergraduate, for masters, or maybe for PhD. It's also going to affect business people. It's also going to affect people who want to stay there and just, relocate on a permanent basis. What do you make of this? Can you bring up to speed what do you think is causing all of this?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, I can hear you.
That US, there's another update on that story. I don't know whether you are following. The US government has denied it, that they must stop using 5 years visa to the US citizens. To the U.S. citizen. So they said they have not stopped it. Contrary to the report that we are having, that they have stopped it now. So they've not stopped it to the Nigerian born U.S. citizen. But on the student issue matter that you just raised now,
Yes.
that one is not, they are not explicit enough on that one now. The what I'm saying next is that the process before is that after completion of your course of study in US, that was the procedure before, you have to, if you are able to
Reapply
get job,
again. Okay.
you are able to get job, you can stay for some time. But if by the time you are still looking for job, if you are unable to secure employment in US after 6 or 1 year now, then you come back to your country. So student visa is not a permanent resident visa. People should get that one right.
Yes.
You go there to study. After completion of your study, if you are favorable enough to get appointment, you can as well stay. It's only in the UK that you can move in with your family and the rest. So they don't stop this US visa to the Nigerian-born US citizen. I think we need to clarify that issue.
Okay, thank you on that. Well, what about the Venezuelan deportees that the United States wants Nigeria to take in? What do you make of that?
One thing I used to tell people is that you have to check those people that are being deported. There is a difference between legal and illegal immigrants. If you are an illegal immigrant, even in Nigeria, we've had serious cases. Recently, some Ghanaians that were illegally brought into the country, they were being rescued by the police. And what comes out of it later, they are going to be sent back to their country. If you illegally enter US and don't follow the due process, definitely you are going to be deported back to your country home. But if your visa is student visa, not a resident visa, so after the completion of your course of study in US now, and you are still hanging around without a legally backup document, you are bound to be deported. We don't need to be sentimental about all this process. It's not that I don't think the US government has anything against Nigeria, but we are in such a country that everything is being politicized. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, I thank you for your input on that. Let's also talk about another major headline. I have this one on this day that says Shatima Tambuwal told Jonathan he had no power to remove elected governors. Recalls our ex-speaker saved him from removal as Borno governor. What do you think Shatima is trying to do? Because when I read the story, he said that, if not for the likes of Tambuwal and also the ex-AG, he would have been removed as governor. And he also said that, they told the then president, that, you don't have the right to remove not even a councillor. Let's not even talk about a sitting governor. Let's also talk about the fact that just recently, his principal, the president of this country, suspended the governor of Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and installed a sole administrator. What do you think Shatima is trying to do, talking about this at this point in time?
So this Shatima is not doing anything new. Constitutionally, let's take our constitution very well. It's only the way we practice our own democracy here. Councillor, governors, House of Rep member, senators, they are being elected just as presidents. It is those who elected you that has power to remove you.
Okay.
Not even the president. Not even the president. Shatima is not saying anything new to me.
Okay.
But people are trying to read meaning into it. You cannot take what you did not give. That's what the man is trying to say. If you follow constitution very well, it is only the House of Assembly. But get me clear. President has no power to remove. President can only influence removal. Choose people that have power to remove. We've had instances of Ladoja that time that said that former President Obasanjo was instrumental to its removal. But mind you, Ladoja was removed by the House of Assembly.
Was impeached, yes.
The only thing President does, like we know in Nigerian politics, can influence the lawmakers that have power to remove. So that was what Shatima is trying to say. But in his own case, he's talking about how he managed to change the narrative how Adoke assisted and Tambua as a member, as Speaker of House of Rep at that time. That's what I'm trying to say. Tambua is a member of House of Rep. Adoke is SGF that time.
Yes.
Adoke stood in for the executive arm. Tambua stood in for legislative arm. Legislative arm that Tambua stood in for has power that to remove that time. But this people say it is not constitutional for Mr. President or whosoever to initiate the removal of another elected officer. That's what we are driving after that. It's not that Shettima is having issue with the presidency. It's not that Shettima is having a running battle with whoever the people may think now. But it's in the obvious part that you cannot take what you did not give. That's what Shettima is trying to say. Constitutionally, let's look at the Constitution. Let's base our analysis on Constitution. Mr. President has no power. But the other Nigerian politics, Mr. President can only influence. Those are the two ways that we should look at. That's what Shettima is doing. If Mr. President so wish, he can influence the removal of another elected officer. Two people that have power to remove. That's the way I look at it.
Well, interesting. Still talking about suspension, let's also look at this headline that says Akpabio strips Natasha of Senate Committee chairmanship. What you make of that? Because we know that, they are still going through some issues. Natasha said she was going to resume her duties, on Tuesday, but eventually she did not resume. Why? Because the Senate said, they have not received, clear terms from the Federal High Court, the Abuja High Court. And of course, a lot of persons are asking, is this related, to the existing issues, between these two people? I mean, the Senate President and, of course, Natasha. And do you see Natasha actually resuming back as the senator representing Kogi Central, looking at all of these issues going on?
That's another constitutional rascality.
Okay.
Senate President is not the one. Natasha is not representing Senate President on the floor of the Green Chamber, Red Chamber. Natasha has the mandate of his constituency.
Okay.
And also, the case is still pending. The court ruled. Natasha has his own side of judgment. The federal government has its own side. But let's think of it. What is the business of the federal government taking Natasha to court? That's another subject for another day. Natasha has no issue with the federal government. But it will shock you to learn that it was this same federal government that instituted case against Natasha in the court. The court ruled Natasha breached the House rule, had to pay a social fine. Then there is this stipulated period that you can suspend a member of the Senate. It should not be more than 6 months.
Okay.
And when you look at it now, try and say another constitutional rascality. You are only there, you are being elected by this same member. You are being given the mandate to lead by this same member. What right has Mr. Senate President to now strip somebody of all his function? I think it's another rascality. If you are going to go by the Constitution, if you are going to respect the rule of law, if you are truly there is something called separation of power, legislative one, executive one, and judiciary act, the court has ruled. The judgment of court must be obeyed. You do not go to court to appeal these judgments. Since the same judgment still stands for now, nothing stops the Senate from recalling Madam Natasha, the way I look at it. But the way things are going, I can see the hands of politics there now. So it's only now they try to recall Natasha, and the process failed. It failed woefully. Some of the addresses given, some of the names given, they are fake names. These are names that cannot be substantiated. That's why INEC said that decision then could not stand. So it's only people from the constituency that can recall him. Recall him from the Senate, not even the Senate President, not even Mr. President. So
Okay.
depriving him of his role, of his function, of his whatever airship being given, it is constitutionally wrong. It is another constitutional rascality to me. It is wrong on the part of Mr. President. I think Natasha would do that. If they have any issue with that judgment, let them appeal the judgment.
Okay, thank you on that. Okay, before I leave this issue of, Senator Natasha, let's also talk about the fact that before her suspension, she had issues with some members of the House. She also complained bitterly about the fact that some of her bills are being delayed. And I recall even after the suspension, most of the women did not even support her. So should she be restored as a senator representing Kogi Central? Don't you think it will result in more issues, our bills being delayed and the likes? What do you think?
The genesis, we are still following the genesis of the Natasha's issue. It started from the sitting position.
Okay.
Before it now escalated to that, being bullied, doing all these things by the House. Let me tell you one thing now. You talk about being given support.
Yes.
Let me give you an experience now. I can organize some women. Okay, everything goes in Nigeria. Money plays dominant factor in Nigerian politics.
Of course.
You can have your own group. Okay, you have to be vocal. We are not in support of what we do. Another group may not have the majority will always have their say. Way. So those people that you are claiming are not supporting, who are those people? Who are those drumming support? Who are those sponsoring them? I don't think when you're on the right path, you don't need any support. Just like Natasha will tell you, these are legal issues. I'm a lawyer. I'm on the right path. I don't need anybody's support. Whatever the law says on this matter, I will abide. So I don't need support of anybody. I don't need everything else. When you look at the bone of contention, everything is being political. So people even tell you because Natasha is that ambitious of his ambition, which is not yet confirmed, that I want to become a governor of Kogi State in 2027. Okay. So they are reading so many things being led to his position on this issue. Another case I was using the Senate, I don't know if you are aware, about another woman complaining of the same thing that Natasha has complained of in the Senate. Another woman is complaining about another harassment in the Senate. Then how do we go from here? So Natasha's issue is not politicized.
I also think it's not going to end there because I recall she mentioned that she has some serious evidence against the Senate president.
He said it. He said it that he has evidence against him. They now said that as a lawyer. Okay, she said it that all those evidences will be sent out at the appropriate time, at the appropriate place.
Okay.
Where the appropriate place is the court of law. You could not expect him to be displaying his evidence on the pages of newspaper, appearing on radio and television program. You don't let out your secret to the enemy. So when news arises now, all those things will be tendered. That's our position. That's the position of Natasha on this matter. I know it's not a small pride. It's not a kid. He cannot be fighting on just cause without having evidence to back it up. He knows the implications. He's a lawyer. You cannot call somebody a thief without substantiating say, okay, you are a thief. This is what you have stolen. He knows that defamation is a criminal offense. You can't defame people without having evidence to back it up. That's the way I look at it.
All right, thank you for that. We look forward to how the issues will unfold in the next few weeks or more. Let's talk about this very quickly. I have this headline that says NNPCL must account for 210 trillion naira, Senate insists. And of course, I read the story that said that the GCEO has refused to appear before the Senate committee. Why do you think that is happening? He keeps sending people as representatives, and the Senate is saying they are not going to address those representatives unless he shows up himself.
NNPC EU, he predated this administration.
Okay.
Every admission, in every admission that the President we always have issues with NNPC. The minister is there as political head. We should know it now. And we don't have Minister of Petroleum. You should know that one. Mr. President is the Minister of Petroleum. We only have state minister for that office. If you want to summon anybody, NNPC is a subsidiary. If you want to summon anybody as regards this thing, the man cannot do it on his own. The man is being appointed by Mr. President. The Senate should look inward. Each way they have the power that they are claiming to be now. You can sanction this chairman. Why is it taking them so long to weigh the instrument of office? You've summoned him many times, he has been sending representative, and you are still looking at it. If truly Senate, I stand to be corrected, if truly the Senate that we are having now are not rubber stamped, nothing stop them to weigh that instrument of office. I've invited you for clarification, for questioning on so issue. How many times now? And they are still keeping silent. There's something wrong with our constitution. Something wrong with our democracy.
Do you think he has some level of support from the inside? Because, I mean, just like you said, they've been asking him to show up. He refused to show up. And, of course, nothing has been done up until now.
Yeah, come away.
I said, do you think he has some level of support from the inside? Because just like you said, they've asked him to show up. You know, he keeps on sending people and nothing has been done.
Definitely. That one needs not to be told that regarding support. No, definitely is to have the support of the man who is the person who appointed him. Okay. Now, but if I'm sending representatives, the representatives there are coming with facts. You want to verify claims, isn't it? And these people are coming. Let me tell you, in every ministry, Palm said, Permanent Secretary is the administrative head. Minister or commissioners are political head. If you truly want to verify claims, and those people are not saying that they are capable enough to represent the chairman or whoever, the DG or whoever it is now, give them audience. You can sanction that other one later. You can sanction the man for disrespecting the Senate. That one should not disturb you from carrying out your verification. Okay, I have the file. Now I can represent me anywhere. I may not be doing this thing. Okay, you want to know more about my family. Okay, my wife is a member of the family. Go and represent the family. Tell them whatever they need to know. I think the Senate, in as much I'm not encouraging, I'm not supporting whoever is doing that from being disrespectful. Okay. And at the table, in the interest of general public, okay, there's a claim over people a month. People are coming with the file. Give them audience. Find out for them. If they are able to answer your questions, then you can now insist, okay, the chairman or whoever, the MD must go. Now, these people have first.
Oh,
that's it.
I get it. I think it's a fine place to leave it. We do hope that, this will be sorted out. And, of course, the GC who is going to appear before the Senate committee and talk about all of this, going on about the 210 trillion naira. Thank you so much, Annalise Soji Ajibola, for coming on board this morning to join this segment.
Hello.
All right. Annalise Soji Ajibola, who is a journalist and a commentator on national issues. We spoke about, quite a number of headlines this morning. Thank you for being on board. It's a fine place to leave it this morning, ladies and gents. And of course, brothers and sisters, we look forward to more interesting headlines, come next week. My name is Oluwayemi Adela, and I'm saying good morning. Do not go anywhere. We still have some things to talk about. Please stay with us.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the Big Story on Daybreak Live Extra, the Friday edition, broadcasting live from the city of Ibadan on Dominion Television, where we spotlight the stories shaping culture, identity, and progress in Nigeria. Today, it's a power-packed edition with two dynamic voices and two rich conversations from gender advocacy to heartbeat of Nigerian music. Sit tight, it's going to be insightful, vibrant, and unforgettable. Samson Balogun is my name. We begin with a voice for the voiceless. Omobawumi Ebube Ayodele, a passionate gender advocate whose work is rooted in empowering women and girls across communities, from creating safe spaces to promoting equity. Her advocacy reminds us that true development must be inclusive. We'll talk about impact, challenges, and the road ahead in Nigeria's gender conversation. Then after that, we'll transition into rhythm and roots as we welcome the ever-creative Ayodada, popularly known as the Radio Bulldozer, an artist and cultural commentator with a deep understanding of Nigerian music and its evolution. In our conversation titled The Rhythm and Roots, we'll explore how Nigeria's sound have grown, fused, and gone global. And of course, what this evolution means for the identity, artistry, and the next generation of music makers. This is a fusion of purpose and passion, and we are glad you are here with us this morning. Do not forget you can keep the conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It is at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Do well to watch us live on our YouTube and website. On YouTube, subscribe to that channel at Dominion Broadcast and watch us live. Drop your comments there. On our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. That's where you are going to listen to or watch us live on this show this morning. The show is still Daybreak Live, as you know. I have with me a guest in the studio, and with that, we'll be making sense of what advocacy really means and creating safe spaces for women who we can say are sometimes endangered, especially with the situation of things in the country. Good morning to you, Ebube Ayodele.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure.
Good to have you on the show. Now, let me ask you this question. What inspired you to become a gender advocate, and what personal experience shaped this journey?
Okay, so basically, it's been with me all along. While growing up, I could see many women, many girls, abused, basically. You know, we're in a patriarchal community where the men are the ones that are to be respected, the ones that are masters and all of that. And, you know, this kind of shaped me to be in this area, because while growing up, we see girls they have a dream, but basically they try to make them, they try to create a mindset that they should be
You have to submit to those dreams once they are married.
Submissive and all of that. So these are some of the things, and I grew up into creating that different mindset that a woman should have a voice. A woman can be who she wants to be. A woman can have the dreams. She can be what that man wants to be also. So there's no discrimination.
So how long have you been doing this?
Okay, I would say roughly, I've been in this all along, but roughly, fully, I've been in this for about 4 years.
4 years. Now, let me ask you, it's a question that so many people would want to ask you. From business, administration to entrepreneurship, and now gender advocacy, how has your academic journey influenced your work, and then with women and girls?
Okay, so
how did you transition from all this? Do you still combine all these three together, or you have been able to transition from one to the other over time?
Okay, so basically, yes, I still love business. It has been a passion from when I was a young person. It has been something that has been part of me. But I transitioned into this. It's all linked together, actually. There's a part of entrepreneurship that talks about social entrepreneurship, where you're able to reach out to people and all of that. So it's all linked together, in which I'm able to do my business. I'm able to, the skills I've learned, you know, communication, things like that, able to make people understand these things. So it's all linked together.
Now, can you walk us through what your role is as an assistant program manager at the Women's Safe House Sustenance Initiative?
Okay, so at Women's Safe House, we are a non-governmental organization that is focused on eradicating gender-based violence across women and girls. Okay. And this cuts across advocacy, where we reach out to women We go to marketplaces, hospitals, schools, just to create awareness, because we realize that many women don't know about these things. Fine, there's a whole lot of increase in domestic violence here and there, but still many women, they don't know even the signs. They don't know, okay, this thing I'm experiencing is actually gender-based violence, and they don't even know where to go to. So those are some of the things we do in Women's Safe House. Also, we also do psychosocial support to women, where we offer counseling, we offer legal assistance to women and things like that. So my role cut across all of this, managing programs, ensuring that these programs go well, and also we are focusing and reaching the right people in this regard.
Okay, now, having mentioned domestic violence, probably it's time to snowball into the common challenges that women face in the society you currently work in. So what are the most common challenges you have seen that women face in this society?
Okay, many women go through the issue of economic abuse, in which they are victimized, they are limited to having access to funds, access to finances. Many people believe that once you are married, your
you
place...
really do not need anything.
Yes, you really do not need it, as long as you're in the house. After what do you need money for? And it's beyond that. It's very saddening that people still have this mindset. So I believe that many women are going through economic abuse, and the truth is, domestic violence is even beyond the physical. It's beyond you, a man beating a woman, all of that. It's cut across sexual, economic, all of that.
Emotional abuse.
Yes, emotional abuse too. So they're all phases under domestic violence.
Now, if you get to encounter women who sometimes have these issues that you have mentioned, especially emotional, how does your organization help them, to get past this and, of course, reintegrate them back into society?
Okay, so for that, so if we come across women that are going through emotional abuse, first of all, we have support groups. We try to have a conversation with them first, try to get to know at what point are they right now, because there's a cycle of violence,
Okay.
where it comes from the honeymoon stage to the tension stage to the explosion stage. So we get to know at what point are they in the cycle of violence. So we know what are their needs, because sometimes you may feel, oh, the woman needs money, but actually she needs something else. Maybe she just needs someone to talk to.
Attention.
Yes, attention. So we try to identify the woman's need at that point, and we have several support groups that we use to encourage these women.
Okay, now let's still talk about the challenges women face in the society. People will always look at the angle of the government in all of this. So, since you have been in this, has there ever been a role played that you have noticed? Has there ever been a role being played by the government to make sure that women really are not the victims in our society?
Of course, yeah. The government has actually put in place the VAP law, in which that was brought out about, I think, 2015, the VAP law, the VAC Act, sorry, and also Oyo State adopted that law into practice, where, if you look through the VAP law, there are lots of laws that, support the woman. There are laws against sponsorial battery, there are laws against economic abuse, and all of that, but just that many people don't even still know this law. So I feel that if many people are come to realization of this law, they'll be able to defend themselves and know their rights. Okay,
now, are there any success stories or breakthrough moments in what you do at your organization that you feel proud of at this point, like, oh, I think we are doing the right thing?
Okay, yes, we have a lot of success stories. First of all, I would say that our shelter is a success story.
You have a shelter where you keep people who are...
Yes, yes. So our shelter is a place where we accommodate women, so for a limited period of time. So because I realize that many organizations in Nigeria don't have a shelter. That's the truth, because of the...
It's just being done on paper.
Yes, it's just being done on paper. They will just say they have it, but having a shelter is very demanding. It's very demanding, and it takes a whole lot of courage to go into that area and say you want to actually provide a shelter. So one of our successes, I would say, is having a shelter, and also we have a helpline that cuts across Nigeria. You know, we get calls all over Nigeria, and recently I would say that we were launched on the One Box Google for domestic violence in Nigeria. So I would say that's a success story, because right now we get calls from everywhere in Nigeria, and we are at that point where somebody needs help, because the helpline cuts across suicide, it cuts across pregnancy, abortion, it cuts across domestic violence, all forms of domestic violence. So I will just stop there.
Okay, now it's actually interesting because so many organizations, like you mentioned, do not have shelter for their people. But then I want to put it this way. You know, we have seen women who are actually endangered in their marriages. Some are not even in marriages; they are in their parents' home, and of course they have challenges. But the point is, sometimes you want to help them, but they don't want to be helped. So how do you do it in your organization to make sure that they don't end up being, you know, where they don't want to be, especially when you have tried to help and then you realize the fact that I don't think this person needs help?
Well, for that, the truth is that you have to always seek consent.
You know, you see women who actually, they get abused, but then they always go back to the same marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, so for that scenario you place now, it's of the mind, actually. You know, domestic violence, like I said earlier, it doesn't happen in a day. It's something that has, you know, happened gradually over the years, and especially if someone has been gaslighted, you know, it happens gradually to the extent that the person does not even know, they lose their identity in that regard. So it's a whole lot of work, because sometimes people even reach out on the behalf of other people that, oh, I know this person is going through violence and I don't know how you can help. And then we actually reach out to the person. The person like, oh, nothing is happening to me. My family is fine. We are very happily married and things like that. So it's a whole lot of challenge, because many of these women, they have accepted violence as a norm for them.
I once encountered a woman who mentioned that if the husband does not beat her, she doesn't feel loved. I mean, have you encountered women of this nature?
Yes, we have. We have encountered women in that nature, where they have normalized abuse to be a fun thing, basically, and, you know, a sign of also love. And I always say that things like that is because they have probably gone through trauma as a child, you know, unhealed trauma. Constantly, probably their fathers beat their mothers, you know, and they saw this thing happen, you know, all along, all through their childhood into adulthood. So it becomes a norm. And many people all, disregard the influence of that trauma in children, because they feel, oh, they are young, they cannot, you know, really remember. But the truth is that the child's mind is very
sharp.
Yes, very sharp. They will remember these things, and one way or the other, it has an impact on them.
Now, for women who are actually, you know, experiencing abuse in their marriages, and they also have kids, they have children, you know, sometimes you get to realize the fact that they are passing down, you know, something that is really not worth it to their children, and then it becomes a norm when they also grow up. Now, once you are done with the women who are actually having that issue in their marriages, do you also get to you know, do some sort of counseling for children who are also in the marriage, who are witnessing what is happening to their parents?
Yes, I would say yes, because even, in fact, recently we realized that many children are even reaching out on their own. You know, you hear of 14-year-olds, teenagers reaching out that, oh, I don't know, I feel very alone, I don't like what is going on in my family. So we actually offer counseling for those people too. It's one of our psychosocial supports we offer. But the thing is that many people just don't see it as something important. But if we get to in contact with those children, we try to help the situation.
Okay, I was talking to a colleague yesterday who, you know, told me a short story about someone he knows a few weeks ago, that happened a few weeks ago. I think that was during the Leia festival. They were meant to go out together, father, mother, and the kid, but unfortunately they could not go because the bike wasn't available, so they had to leave the child at home, and you know, they went and then thought of buying something for the child when they were coming back. But unfortunately, the child told them that he was going to surprise them by the time they returned. But by the time they returned, he was dead. he poisoned himself. So these things, how is there a way that there's going to be an helpline, a sensitization in one way or the other? Are you planning anything like that to make sure that even children are aware of the situations around them, and that they always have to know that even if you don't feel loved in your family, there are people out there who love you?
Yes, I will agree with you on that. Well, that's one of the things that our helpline actually supports, you know, parental issues and all of that. And recently, we actually started an initiative, Safe Sisters, for secondary school students, where we reach out to them because we realize that many of these things actually start from when they're teenage, you know, the whole mindset and all of that. So we start from there, where we reach out to schools and try to, you know, get to understand what they're going through. You know, some of these people, they cannot even speak to their parents. They cannot speak to anyone. But if they have a safe space where they can open themselves up to and not just be themselves. So that's why we created that space where, you know, secondary school children can actually talk, and we also explain to them these things so that when they see the signs, they understand it and know how to seek help.
Now, when we talk about, we have several kinds of abuses, like you rightly mentioned earlier. Which one of this is most prevalent, you know, in the society you currently work in?
Well, I won't say anyone is above the other. All of them are prevalent, actually. If you talk about domestic abuse, it's, in fact, almost every day, a woman out of, you know, there's a statistics that out of 5 women, 3 women have gone through domestic abuse, you know, so it's something that is happening. There's economic abuse where it deals with the finances and all that. There's even one that is recently discovered and is alarming even in our society, which is technology-facilitated abuse, where people through our smartwatches, through social media, cyberbullying and things like that. So there is really no one that is more prevalent than the other. They're all, you know.
Okay. Now, talking about abuse in the society, since you started this, with your experience, do you think we are on the upward trajectory in terms of reduction, or maybe, you know, it's still the same way it is that you have always known? Or you think, oh, in the next few years, you feel your organization and a few organizations out there who are doing the same thing as you do, who, you know, have success stories as regards reduction of abuse in our society?
Yes, well, there has been a lot of work that has been done on this, because through advocacy, and you will notice that there's a lot of advocacy now. You know, people are getting to explain these things, even down to the grassroots women or even men, you know, people that are in those critical positions like landlords, you know, people like that. So it's a whole lot of work. I won't say that it has been reduced, because it's still happening. But I would say that it is better than before. Actually, there's a progress, because the laws have been put in place and people are actually getting justice. You know, if you look at various cases this year have gotten justice, you know, so it's just a work in progress. You know, we'll keep on hoping for the best. Okay,
now let's talk about gender equality in our society. How would you rate gender equality in the society right now in Nigeria?
I feel that many people do not really understand gender equality, because if you just write gender equality now on social media, you will see how a lot of people will come up and try to attack you because people don't understand it. Gender equality is basically you saying that if a woman is if a woman and a man are in this have the same qualifications, or they have the same opportunity, they should be given the same opportunities. Not that one because she's a girl, she should not, you know, go to school, or because she's going to get married, there's no need of you wasting your money and all that. So gender equality is basically you offering the same opportunities to both genders, not you discriminating one over the other.
Now, I was talking to a colleague just yesterday too. We had a lot of you know, things to discuss, and then we talked about a lady who got a job, a lucrative job at that, and then there was a clause in the contract she was sent. Oh, you cannot get married in the next 5 years. You cannot have kids in the next 5 years. So if you are not willing to sign this contract, you should notify us so that we can get someone else to fill the position. I mean, how do you feel when you get to hear these things happening in the society?
It just shows that many people are still like, they've not really understood this thing. And that's why I'm very happy that recently, I think in the police force, because I think previously in the police force, I'm not sure. I think if a woman gets pregnant or something, and she's not married, there's a punishment, or I think they will eliminate her or something. But now, at least they have passed that law that police officers can get pregnant and things like that. There's no need
There's
of
no crime.
Yeah. It's not a crime
getting
and all of
pregnant,
that. So
actually.
it all explains that many people are still narrow-minded, in this regard, and they've not understood, gender equality. So if a employer understands gender equality, he will not, put that particular clause in that job offer.
Okay, now, very quickly, let me take this particular story. We have, references to make this morning. In Ogun State, 6 pregnant Ogun Amotekun recruits dismissed over health concerns. And it's actually got to a state where some of them were actually pregnant. So should it get to this stage where they get removed from the call just because, they are pregnant?
Well, it shouldn't actually. It still falls back to, we're in a patriarchal society where the man is already put above the woman, So that's just how it is.
Okay, now, there was a story on the pages of the newspaper, I think a day before yesterday, overnight, till yesterday, where a police officer had an issue with the wife and then beat the wife black and blue. And the argument was, they were fighting over school fee. Now, should it get to a stage where, men and women, especially in our society, get to this stage where they get beaten just because, of responsibilities? Do you experience this often, where responsibilities in the home becomes a problem and then becomes a fight between the husband and the wife?
Well, I will start by saying, answering that, I'll start by saying that there's a difference between the house and the home. And the home shouldn't be a place where there's violence. No matter what the situation is, it shouldn't get to a point where, you're having to beat your partner over, probably paying off school fees or because of the needs. There are ways to address these issues. There are ways to have conversations. And even if one of the partners are having issues, there are ways to, sit down as a couple and sort out these things. So I feel that it shouldn't get to violence, actually. There are several ways to, solve these situations.
Now, very quickly, has there ever been a time where you find a woman who is being abused in the marriage and then you counsel them and then they go back to the same marriage?
Oh, yes, of course, many times. And that's why I said that it's of the mind, actually, because, for instance, the woman is not economically empowered. There is nothing she can do. That is where she understands. That's where she feels safe, especially if she has been in a marriage for like maybe over 10 years or 20 years, she has seen that place as a safe space. So she will want to go back unless she sees an alternative. So if there's no alternative, there is no way out, basically.
Do you provide alternatives for these people? Do you take them through the process of being independent on their own?
Yes, so basically we have a part of our organization that trains women. So we sometimes offer them financial support. If they want to start a business, we can support it. Or if they have a job, if they have some skills, maybe qualifications, we try to see if we can get a job for them and all of that. So sometimes we actually do that, but it still falls back to the fact if the woman is interested, because we're very big on consent. So if we want to help this particular set of women and they're holding back or they're withdrawing, there's really nothing we can do.
Okay, now very quickly, in your opinion, what are the key policies and societal changes you think we truly need to protect and empower women and girls in this society?
I feel that we should have more advocacy, spread it out more. More advocacy will actually solve the problem, because if down to a 10-year-old girl, she understands these things, there will be a whole lot of work that has been done, to reduce this increase in domestic violence. Okay.
Also, how do you address pushbacks, which we talk, and cultural resistance? Has there ever been a time where culturally you have victims that really do not want to be helped because their culture do not allow it, or probably religion, or one way or the other?
Well, yes, we have encountered cases like that, because there are times when women reach out to us and probably their husbands or their partners have abused them. So they are basically concerned about, what will people say, we have been married together for a long time. You know, people are so bothered about social media these days, you know, posting online and all of that. So there's the cultural part of it, you know, the societal culture that, oh, the way a marriage should be and all of that, a relationship should be. So if it's not falling that line, you want, because of the victimization and things like that. Also, there's the culture of, there are many cultures, I think this cut across many cultures and religions, where they feel that the woman should be loyal, and you know, it's the place of the woman to always apologize even when she's not at fault. Because there was a case I think there was a video I saw recently online where there was a pastor and a woman. I think the woman came to report to the pastor how she had bruises on her body, and that even with that, the pastor still didn't believe her. So it takes a whole lot, because society sometimes don't believe the survivors even when they share the story.
Okay, since you mentioned, you know, this particular story, we have had stories of some women who actually believe more in their pastors, in their imams, in their religious leaders than their husbands. They give more respect to religious leaders than their husbands. And then this brings about problems in the family. And, you know, most times they will say men only need respect and women need love. So these are two different things. So if you are getting that from your husband and you are not giving what, you know, he truly deserves, how are you helping people, I mean women in this situation, get past this particular problem?
Okay, the truth is everybody has a role to play, and if those religious leaders don't play their role in that situation, that's why a whole lot of violence is still ongoing. Because if a woman, like you said, many women
you hear things like, oh, daddy, that's the pastor,
yes,
and then
yes.
the husband is just scholar or is uzo or something.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Well, you can't really remove that, because you know, spiritual leaders already have a respect that everybody places in them, and all of that. You just have to strike the balance, basically. Striking the balance. And also, like I said, everybody has a role to play. So even as a religious leader, know your place in that situation. Believe the survival, because it's because they have so much trust in you that they're able to come down to you to even share that particular thing with you.
Okay, what advice do you have for young women who want to enter advocacy or create change in their communities?
Okay, I would say that, well, you are not alone. You are not alone. We are.
But then if we have younger women who feel, oh, because I had an experience and I don't want that to happen to someone else's child or someone else's daughter, I want to venture into this. That aside, you have matured women, married women who also feel, oh, this I experienced in my last marriage and I don't think I want to let someone else experience this. And they are coming into what you do. So what would you tell them to do first so that they don't just, you know, rush in and rush out? You know, if you are not prepared, you are not prepared. There's nothing you can do about it.
True. So I would say, firstly, understand the whole thing on that, because many people still don't understand what gender-based violence is. You know, many people still think it's all about girl, you know, the female and male thing. So understand what gender-based violence is, and also there are lots of mentorship programs you can join, because even us in our organization, we have mentorship programs we run for people that want to be gender advocates, that people that want to go into this space. So we take them through from the beginning to, you know, to when they're able to stand on their own.
Okay, now, do you think youth of this generation are open to gender equity?
Yes, we are open to.
Compared to what we used to have?
Yes, in fact, it's even better now. We are open to that because there are a whole lot of more opportunities. Unlike before, that there were not these programs, there were no conferences, there were not things to, you know, that really were openly advocacy for these things. So there are a lot of opportunities, and yes, this generation too can chip in.
All right, so thank you for being a part of the show this morning.
Yes, thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you, and I feel and I know that people are going to pick one or two from what you've said so far. Good to have you on the show, and we do hope that next time you will be here.
Yes.
Okay, now, Ebube, Omobawumi Ebube Ayodele has been my guest so far on this show. She's a passionate gender advocate committed to supporting and empowering women and girls. She currently serves as the Assistant Program Manager at Women Safe House Sustenance Initiative, where she contributes to advocacy, outreach, and survivor support. Ombawumi holds a BSc in Business Administration from Bowen University and an MSc in Entrepreneurship from the University of Ibadan. Her work is rooted in a deep desire to see women and girls live safe, confident, and impactful lives. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning. Well, our time is fast spent on this show so far. We head for a short break, and when we return, Daybreak Live continues on Dominion Television. Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra right here on Dominion Television Ibadan, your channel of choice where inspiration meets entertainment. We told you that we'll transition into rhythm and roots as we welcome the ever-creative Ayo Dada, the popularly known as the Radio Bulldozer, an artist and cultural commentator with a deep understanding of Nigerian music and its evolution. In our conversation titled Rhythm and the Roots, we'll explore how Nigeria's sounds have grown, fused, and gone global, and what this evolution means for identity, artistry, and the next generation of music makers. This is a fusion of purpose and passion. Good morning once again. The Radio Bulldozer is here. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here today, and you know, it's a beautiful environment. So here we are. We are dominating.
Let's pitch you, the Radio Bulldozer.
Okay, well, my name is Ayo Dada, and you call me the Radio Bulldozer. I am an artist. I'm talking about musical artist, you know, blending Afrobeat and electronic and alternative sound to create music that moves the body and soul. You know? So basically, it's more of Afro-conscious storytelling, you know, that deals with more of our culture, basically.
So what inspired your stage name, the Radio Bulldozer?
Okay, you know, the bulldozer, you know the work of a bulldozer, right? And then, you know, when we say radio, I've been on air for like close to more than 20 years now. And what actually brought me to radio was my music. I actually came to drop my CD, you know, back then in 2002. You know, at the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, and then suddenly, someone just said, "You sound so nice. You can come in and you play your music." And suddenly, I just found myself inside radio studio, and I started talking and I started playing music. And ever since then, not until later in 2019 that I decided to just like put all my songs out there on the streaming platform. Like, let's just go public. So basically, I'll say I go public in 2019.
In 2019?
Yes.
How long have you been doing music?
I started music with the influence of my dad. Yeah, you know, it is a choir master. That's what we call it they call it Ijo Aguda. You know, I happen to be the metronome guy, you know, that beat the ton ton ton, the shekere, and then the bass drum that just keep doing doom doom. And you know, that actually got me, you know, to like music, especially our local music, in terms of the local drums, the local instruments, and every other thing that actually imbibe with what it is that we do today: music, singing, sound. And I think that's just it.
So how do you fuse the African culture into your sound? How do you blend it? What brings about the inspiration to actually put your songs on paper before you actually put them out there?
Music is spiritual. Yeah, music is like it's a message from the mind. You know, if you don't understand music, you don't just sing. You know, some write, some hum, some will get the toning software in their head and put it on. But for me, it's more of situations around. Like if I'm to, like my experience, you know, it comes, and then I just put it together, and sometimes I write, sometimes I listen to the beats, and it comes and we flow. So it's more of perception. Like when I sing, my music, my lyrics it goes out in diaspora. Like it doesn't really speak with one person.
Okay.
You know, you listen to it, the same song but different perspective. You know,
depends on the understanding.
Depends on the understanding, because my music is not just like the direct song that you just listen to and you just let it go. You go back again and listen to it. You see something to pick. You go back again and listen to it. You still see one or two things.
There's always something.
There's always something that will, you know, trigger your conscience. That's the word.
Okay, as someone who has been around for a long time, you know, from the old days, the music of old, and now where technology has taken over, there is a new fusion of music in town. How did you transition from what you used to do to what is currently trending, even though you have maintained your originality, but then you have been able to transition into, you know, what's happening now?
You see, with the way the culture is going now, you just have to stick with what you know. You have to stick with your personality, because that's what will show your audience or your fans who you really are. You know, if you look at the likes of King Sunny Ade, the likes of Ebenezer Obey, you'll be wondering what is keeping them up till date is their personality. They never lose form. So if you tend to look at who Radio Bulldozer is a guy that kind of understands sound in his own, you know, level, I would like to put it that way, with listening to the likes of Fela, on not just listening to them, understanding their personality and how they were able to withstand the cultural pressure. You know, cultural pressure, and that alone has been my inspiration, you know, holding things down. And it's not like maybe I'm literally looking for fame. I'm not singing for fame. I'm singing, I'm a messenger, you know, like I deliver what it is that I've been given to in my mind to let out, because I believe that I'm not just doing this for myself, I'm doing it for, you know, the general world at large, who feel like they want to, they're looking for something much more than what it is that we are listening to today.
Okay, now Afrobeat, Afropop, different names, but Afro remains. It is
Afro
still,
remains,
it
yes.
is still Afro.
Yes.
And you know, it has gone global over time. In the last few years, you know, we have had artists like Burna Boy,
Right.
Davido, Wizkid, and a host of others who have done, you know, Nigeria proud on the African scene and of course on the world at large. But then, has it affected our originality? And what are artists like you doing to preserve originality of African culture, African music, and of course music in general?
Be real. Be yourself. Be authentic. You know, the Western world are looking for originality. I like to use the Western word. They're looking for originality, and if you don't know how to hold on tight to what it is that you are meant to do in the music scene or in the entertainment scene, you might end up, you know, not getting the result and not even reaching the larger audience at which you're actually looking out for. So I believe that one thing is just be original. No matter how hard it is, be original, because the world will want to change you. The world will want to tell you, oh, sing for the girls, oh, sing for this, sing for that, oh, sing emotional and all. But if you truly know your calling, I believe that just be original.
Okay, very quickly before we go,
Yes, sir.
how many of your materials are out there, and where can they find them?
Okay, my songs are on all streaming platforms online. I have 3 albums out now.
Albums out there.
And I'm not the type that drops single, like, you know, drop single. I like to put together all my projects, you know, for the year, and then
Put it out there.
just put it out there. So all in one, maybe 7 tracks, 8 tracks, 6 tracks, depends. Like right now I'm working on another album.
Okay. So on what platforms can they find it?
I can it's all streaming platforms,
Just look
Spotify,
for the Radio
yeah,
Bulldozer,
yes,
you
just
find it
radio, then retype the radio, then Bulldozer. You get everything that you really want about me on Spotify, on Amazon, on YouTube, all streaming platforms.
So
We are
how
there.
can they reach out to the Radio Bulldozer?
Okay, you can check me out on social media, and that's Radio Bulldozer, Instagram and TikTok, Radio Bulldozer 6, and on Facebook as well, Radio Bulldozer.
Thank you, Radio Bulldozer, for joining us in the studio this morning.
My pleasure.
It's been a wonderful session with you.
Same here.
We are still going to have a longer conversation, maybe some other time on another show, but of course, this conversation has not ended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
You are welcome.
All right, and that's where we draw the curtain on today's big story on Daybreak Live Extra Friday edition. From Ebibwe, Ayodele's bold advocacy for women and girls, to the Radio Bulldozer's deep dive into the soundscape of Nigerian music. We have seen how voices, whether spoken or sung, can shape societies, challenge norms, and spark movements. Thank you to our incredible guests in the studio this morning for their authenticity and insight, and to you, our viewers out there, for tuning in to another powerful edition. Remember, every Friday we go deeper, listen closer, and tell the stories that matter most. Until next time, I am Samson Balogun, signing off from Dominion Television Ibadan, where every story finds its voice. Bye for now. Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live Extra live right here on Dominion Television Ibadan, your channel of choice. Yes, it is time for Trend Watch. We'll take you through the trends on social media. And of course, I won't be doing this alone. I have the Queens in the studio, Yemi Adela Quincy, and of course, Taito.
Thank you for correcting yourself.
Thank you for welcoming us back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, a lot has been happening to Queen Mother. That's talking about Iyabo Ojo. I mean, 2 days ago is office got burnt, and a lot of things have been happening. People have been saying, yes, you do at the Jubo, and that's why you're having that repercussion. Talking about some Mohbad issues, that okay, it's because of what she did during Mohbad when he died, and that was what happened. There's repercussion and the rest. So people have been talking about it, but it's huge having an edifice got burnt like that, and the money you use in buying those things then is not the same amount you will have to buy those things now. So people have been talking about it. Well, it has come to the social media as well today. You know, the back and forth between she and Liz Anjorin. So everything is just on her right now, and she's actually down with so many things that have happened to her.
Honestly, and I think she just mentioned the fact that, you know, the police invited her to come and talk about some things, and she said they should give her time to heal. Looking at the fact that, you know, her office just got burnt and she's still trying to, you know, heal and put things in places. And of course, speaking about the issue of Liz Anjorin, I think I watched a video where she said, should anything happen to her or her children, they should hold, you know, Liz Anjorin. It's a lot, but looking at the kind of personality that she has, she's the type to come out to speak out for people. I think Mohbad is not the first person that she's going to speak out for.
No, Baba Jesha is that princess.
Exactly. She will definitely come out to speak out for people. And looking at the kind of person she is, she will not back down. If any issue comes up again, she will still come out to come and talk for those people. So I think it's a lot to undo. I just wish her well in these trying times.
Well, there are comments. Oh,
yeah, let's take the comments there. I think there are comments on there. Pat, please take them.
Okay, post-test_hope saying that is why some celebrities don't get involved in issues that don't concern them directly, because it will be used against you later. She doesn't deserve all of these at all,
honestly, because I think the video that was, you know, that was shown, or the videos that the police are talking about, is one that she recorded many years ago. So it's a lot to undo, really.
And another comment here, it's saying Elmer Queen Wan, it's saying that this is just too much for one person. I feel bad for her.
I mean,
we'll feel bad for her as well.
It's really sad that she's experiencing this at this time. But then, well, we wish her well in everything she does. But unfortunately, we have to go. Our time is fast spent on this show this morning. We say a very big thank you to everyone that has been a part of this show so far. Don't forget, you can keep the conversation going. Link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Dominion Broadcast. Watch us live on our website and YouTube at Dominion Broadcast, or at dominion.org.
Where are you rushing to? Where are you rushing to?
Just watch us live. Keep it locked. And of course, we have so many shows for you on this dial today, so keep it right there. The big conversation is still coming, the agenda, and the host of other shows like the interesting ones, and you are going to enjoy them. Of course, today is Friday. Basically, I'll say enjoy minimally.
Let's be in that sponsor mood.
Right?
Sponsor mode not activated. Deactivated for the weekend. Thank you. Samson Balogun is my name.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show this morning. To join us next week, same time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And before I go, I want to tell you, challenges might come, but then stay resilient at all times. My name is Oluwayemi Adela. I'm saying good morning.
And my name is Pat Aita, saying have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.